Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. My name is Dan.
And my name's Drew.
We're no experts, but we are
the Sports Reverends.
Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. I'm joined with the main man, Sports Rev Drew. How you doing, buddy?
Good. World Series time. It's a great time of the year. October baseball, baby.
October baseball. Fun fact for you. If the NBA last year started on this day and the Raptors were playing the New Orleans Pelicans. And now we got to wait for a little while before they get back. But let's get into some quick Sports Reverends quick hitter news. The Baltimore Ravens acquire Ngakoue from the Vikings for a third and conditional fourth-round pick. They've also added Des Bryant to their practice squad.
NHL postpones their Winter Classic and All-Star Weekend in 2021.
The Raiders and Buccaneers have been flexed to the 4 o'clock game from Sunday night, being replaced by the Cardinals and Seahawks.
And November 18th is the NBA virtual draft, and the NBA is targeting a January 18th start date.
Antonio Brown is allowed to be re-signed after Week 8 is being looked at by the Seahawks, Ravens, and others. Now, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Have you ever thought about how well your investments are performing? Have you wanted to understand how the stock market works and how you can look after your financial future, but have been unsure of where or even how to get started? Train to Invest is North America's leading investment education and training corporation with the sole purpose of providing a new way of thinking about wealth management. Through teaching, training, and coaching individuals in both the art and science of self-directed investing, Train to Invest offers a complete education and training experience to empower families to begin their journey of planning for future generations through investment education. To find out more, look at www.traintoinvest.com and download our free ebook. Again, www.train2invest.com to find more information about our program and download our free ebook.
Are you ready for some baseball? I know Sports Rev Drew is. Let's get into some World Series talk.
Yeah.
What's good?
Love it.
How good has Clayton Kershaw looked?
He is doing his best to get rid of all these rumors that he is terrible in the playoffs. He's had a great run this year. Other than one start, they left him in a bit too long. But 6 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts. He is the best pitcher of this generation by far.
I saw some stat that in game 1, he had the most. He caused the most missed swings by percentage. Over 50% of them missed, and that's insane. All time.
Yeah, like Tampa Bay, they're known to strike out a lot, but still. If you watch the break that he has on his curveball and slider, and he throws them all from the same arm slot, like you don't know what's coming. I wouldn't want to be standing in the box against him. But on the other hand, Tampa Bay is not going away.
They bounce back.
I saw a post. Someone commented that this series is going to be over in 5. This series is not going to be over in 5. Tampa Bay is gritty. They play good defense. They've got some streaky hitters on their team. What's his name? Rosenjera. I don't even know how to say his name, but he tied Derek Jeter's record for hits in a playoff with a hit in the last game.
That's insane.
He's been on some kind of run. He's 1 home run away from the record for home runs in a playoff. And I love your post about the salary cap difference between the two teams, and it would just be an amazing story if Tampa Bay could pull this off.
What a David and Goliath!
And I think they have the pitching to do it, because after you get past Kershaw and Buehler, The Dodgers are pretty weak when it comes to their bullpen. And Kenley Jansen used to be rock solid as a closer. He's not doing it anymore. And I really like the bullpen in Tampa Bay. So I like what they're doing. I think this series goes at least 6. I hope it goes 7.
Okay. Can we talk just a second about Mookie Betts? How great he's been, and like, in my opinion, Boston looks real bad right now for letting Mookie go.
Yeah, but does having Mookie on the Red Sox this year make them a playoff team? Weren't they last or second last in the AL East?
They were bad. They were real bad. I think they were last.
I think Boston is taking a long-term approach to this. They got Verdugo in that trade, who is 23 years old, looks like a star up and coming. They got rid of the David Price contract, which was going to hold them back. I understand why Red Sox did it. I understand why the Red Sox fans are upset. But you have to look long-term, especially in the AL East, because the Yankees don't look like they're going away anytime soon. So you need to sort of do what the Blue Jays are doing, build from within, get some young guys, build them up, and they'll be ready to go because they've got money to spend as well as some good prospects now.
And I'll just say this, the salary comparison, Clayton Kershaw and Mookie Betts is basically the same cost as all of the Tampa Bay Rays' whole salary, which is insane.
It's just ridiculous. And Tampa Bay's always been this way. And they always trade guys a year early rather than a year late.
All right. Well, final thought. Who wins? Who wins the World Series?
I'm going to just go out and say it. I think the Rays win the World Series.
In 6, you got them, eh?
In 6. I really think so. Have they pitched Blake Snell yet, or did they pitch him in the first game?
I'm not sure.
I don't even know if they've. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Blake Snell will be back for game 4 probably. I think he is going to be the best pitcher in baseball in the next couple of years.
Wow.
He's got the same sort of stuff that Clayton Kershaw had early in his career when Clayton was pitching 94, 95, 96 miles an hour with the devastating curveball. And I really like the top of the Rays lineup. Brandon Lau is now hitting. He's had a terrible playoff up until yesterday. Hit 2 home runs. So yeah, I think that gives them a real shot in the arm, along with the Arozarena. I think the Rays take it in 6.
Well, I'll stick with the Dodgers. I had the Dodgers and Rays before the season even started going to the World Series. We got that on tape. So I'm going to stick with the Dodgers, but I think you might be.
That was a hot take. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dodgers going to the World Series.
Hey, I said the Rays too. Okay. Okay, let's jump to some NFL. This has been one of the best wide receiver rookie classes of all time. So let's just talk about them for a second. Which wide receiver rookie is going to finish this year as a clear-cut number 1? We got a few names here. We got Chase Claypool, the Canadian boy. We got Justin Jefferson from the Vikings. We got CeeDee Lamb from the lowly Cowboys. And then I threw in Henry Ruggs as well. He's missed a few games, but he's a difference maker on the Raiders. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Chase Claypool is a great story, but I think there's only one name on here that really sticks out that's been doing it week in, week out, and it's Justin Jefferson. He's really separated himself. He's really filled in those shoes that Stephon Diggs left in Minnesota. And just look what he did last week. He was just a beast. Everyone was talking about how Thielen was going to have a big game, and then Justin Jefferson steps up and does it. And let's say it, like, he's doing it with a average to below average quarterback. Like
right now, definitely below average quarterback.
Kirk Cousins is not a great quarterback, and he's doing it. Claypool, you have Ben Roethlisberger. You've got a bunch of other receivers that that's taking attention away from him. Not to take anything away from him. I know he's a beast. I know he looks real good out there.
He's got rushing touchdowns on top of receiving ones.
Yeah, he's doing it all.
Yeah.
He sort of, like it sort of reminds me like of what that guy in San Francisco did last year. Who's that receiver? They sort of used all over the place. I forget his name. Who's the receiver in San Francisco?
Sanders? Goodwin?
No. He's there now. He's
Ayuk?
no. Oh, come on. All right. Anyways,
Okay.
I'll think of him. You move on. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think statistically Jefferson will probably finish top dog, but will he be the best? I don't know. Like you said, like Claypool, he has lots of talent around him that's going to take away from his stats. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, with the loss of Dak as well, I think Lamb's numbers go even worse. But then I look at Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs came in. He came back off of injury after 2 games and played a huge game against the Chiefs and was a huge. He allowed Derek Carr, to show how good he actually is. I think a lot of people, we've talked about this before. Carr gets a lot of hate, but he's actually a solid quarterback, trustworthy, and I'm a big Henry. So if I have to choose who's the best, I'm probably going to go with, I'm biased with the CeeDee Lamb because I think he's that great of a talent. And the issues around the Cowboys is not their talent at wide receiver. It's everywhere else, including coaching. But honestly, all 4, you can't go wrong with all. They're all going to be big names in this league, I think, for a long time.
Yeah. It's hard to do this in such a team-oriented sport.
Yeah.
Like we talk about this with the quarterback situations, right?
Yeah.
You say put the quarterback in the worst situation and who's the best, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think Jefferson, because let's take who's the best quarterback out of the 4 that these guys are playing with. Probably
Big Ben.
Big Ben. Yeah. Like if you put Jefferson in Pittsburgh, like if you put CeeDee Lamb, like who's doing the best?
Yeah.
Or you could do the opposite, go with the worst quarterback and who's doing the best. I think that's Jefferson. And I think he's got to overcome.
Is Kirk Cousins worse than Andy Dalton?
Well, that's only 1 game sample size, right? Like,
true.
Because I think Dak's better than Kirk Cousins. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
but definitely a good rookie draft. It's making the Packers look really bad for taking a quarterback in the first round.
How good would Aaron Rodgers be doing if he had another one of these guys? Hey?
Oh, so good. Like Aaron Rodgers makes everyone look better, not counting last week where he was just.
Yeah, let's take a pause and talk about Aaron Rodgers last week.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers is like, he doesn't hide his emotions, and you can tell when he gives up. And after he threw that second interception, just deflated and eye rolling, and it's
Colin Cowherd went in on Aaron Rodgers this week.
Oh, of course he did.
He brought up a lot of good stats, and he was talking about, is Aaron Rodgers a really good baller, or is he a bailer? And he actually has, if Aaron Rodgers is trailing at any point of the game, it could be the first minute. Okay, if he's trailing at any point in the game, he has a below 500 record, and I couldn't believe that. People like Ryan Tannehill and Derek Carr don't even have that kind of record.
Yeah, I think I've heard him say that before, and I think it's a bit skewed just because the Packers are a good team. Like the guys that have the most come from behind victories are usually guys that play on teams that are losing. And Aaron Rodgers is a winning quarterback in his career, and he usually has his team up.
But if you look at Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, they still have positive records coming from behind, right? Yeah, Mahomes obviously does. He does it for fun.
And Aaron Rodgers, when he's up, he's that calm, cool, collected guy. But when he gets down, he gets real down, and his body language changes, and that's the one thing I wish he would change about his game, but that's who he is. That's what makes him Aaron Rodgers. And yeah.
That's going to be a good segue to our next topic. But first, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Samara and Jane is an Australian-based accessories retailer with all of the latest fashion trends from around the world. Ladies, update your style game with gorgeous earrings, necklaces, and other jewelry for affordable prices. And guys, you can shop for that special lady in your life too. Use discount code SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. That's SPORTSREV30 for 30% off your entire order. Use discount code at checkout at samaraandjane.com.
All right, we are back. And we're going to jump back into our running conversation that we've had this whole NFL season. The Tom Brady, Bill Belichick saga continues. And this last week, I guess, I think things turned for the worse for Bill Belichick. He's finally dropped a couple steps for Tom Brady to maybe catch up a little. And let's start with Tom Brady. Tom Brady versus the Green Bay Packers. They got on Aaron Rodgers fast and broke his will for that game. Tom Brady's now 4-0 against Aaron Rodgers in his career. Huge win. I did not expect it to be like that, and the way they won, it was a huge step for Tom Brady. What's your thoughts on that, Drew? What's your thoughts on Tom Brady this week?
Well, I've been saying it all along that it's not really a fair conversation just because Tom Brady stepped into a ready-to-win team with a upgraded defense. And if you look at his numbers, he wasn't fantastic last week.
What's his numbers?
17 for 27, which isn't great. 166 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, that's not huge numbers.
No.
I was really impressed with Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
5 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. That one catch he had on that touchdown, like, there's not many guys. Like, sure, he's lost a step, but his hands and his feet to be able to make that catch and stay in bounds,
Big time.
he's still unbelievable at separating himself because he's just bigger than everybody.
Right.
But I think the story was Ronald Jones.
Yeah, for sure. Which Gronk does play a part for that too, because his blocking for him is fantastic.
And I don't think Tom Brady has had a running back like this in a long time to take relief off of his throwing. He only had to throw the ball 27 times. Granted, the Green Bay Packers were terrible.
Yeah.
But I still think this is an unfair conversation just because if Tom Brady was still in New England, I don't even know if they'd be 2-3 right now.
Maybe, yeah. That's true.
Because their team is so bad. They've had so many players sit out this year. They've had so many players injured.
And then, or COVID.
Edelman's not who he was once. And some would say that's Brady. Some would say that's age. But you still have to have players to be able to do well. And I think Cam Newton is doing as good as he could have with that team. What do you think?
I think, Bill Belichick has been unreal until last week. They're playing the lowly Broncos, right? Like, and the way they lost, they couldn't move the ball. Cam looked extra slow. They didn't look prepared, which is very unpatriot-like. And this has been the biggest knock for Bill Belichick, in my opinion, from this year. Otherwise, he's been doing amazing. I think the Patriots are still they're going to bounce back this week. I think they're going to still pick it up throughout this season, and I still have them winning the division over the Bills. So I think the conversation is going to be a little more fair by the end of the season. I think, and I think Bill Belichick still wins this conversation because at the end of the day, I think Brady's going to flame out as he's.
Yeah. And I don't think we should sleep on the Broncos either. For as bad as they've looked in some weeks, I think Drew Lock is a competent quarterback, and he's got some weapons now with Jerry Jeudy, and Tim Patrick has 200-yard games in a row. Noah Fant is a solid tight end. Just traded for him in one of my fantasy leagues,
Nice.
and their defense is solid. And I think they proved that against the Patriots. And
They got a
I think,
solid team of running backs as well.
right, yeah. And their offensive line is still terrible, but there's a lot of bad offensive lines because I think the game of the NFL football is going away from the power run offense. I think we're seeing more of the spread offenses with a lot of throwing and a lot of mobile quarterbacks where you don't need your traditional blocking offensive lines.
Yeah, you're totally right. Totally right. And I love that shot. I think Drew Lock is a competent quarterback too.
Just before we get off of this, how about we talk about the Dolphins news over this past week?
Tua.
Tua time, man. And with the 3-3 Miami Dolphins, who would have thought that?
Yeah, exactly. After 2 passes in the NFL, he got the starting job. I was actually sad. Ryan Fitzpatrick put out a pretty sappy post saying like it's hard for him to give up this spot and it's his heart, and then he has to sit and listen to the coaches that just fired him from his spot basically, and then help Tua through it all. So he said he found it hard, and I thought that was cool.
But can you find a better professional than Ryan Fitzpatrick? Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Who else would have stood up and cheered for your successor
for sure
coming in to replace you?
Tony Romo once did for Dak Prescott, but there's not many like that. You're right.
So I hope it doesn't turn into that where everyone's waiting. Remember when Tony Romo's sitting on the bench and everyone's waiting? When are they going to put him in? Like,
right.
I hope it's a seamless transition for Tua.
But they have to. They have to stay with Tua from now.
Yeah. But the whole thing is like the Dolphins could push for a wild card spot this year.
They could still win the division, technically. Yeah. Like they're in it.
Yeah. With the way they're playing, like their team is good and they play hard, and
they're young.
They're real young. Preston Williams is back now. They've got Mike Gesicki. They've got a couple solid running backs. Gaskin looks really good.
Yeah.
And their defense is playing really hard.
For sure. Yeah, their defense has been surprisingly good.
And Byron Jones is finally playing. Xavier Howard has an interception in his last 4 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Miami. They
could get a wild card spot, eh?
Definitely, I think. And if Tua comes out and plays like the number 1 quarterback he would have been without the injury,
big time.
Like think about how good. Like I think the quarterbacks have been a lot better than we thought they were going to be.
Oh yeah, Burrow, Herbert are money.
Yeah, like Herbert, I called him as being he was going to be the top rookie quarterback.
Yeah, you did. I laughed at you. I laughed at you for that.
But he's been balling.
For sure.
And Tua is supposed to be the most talented out of the group,
which is scary.
Yeah, scary. And I think he's got probably the second best weapons.
Probably
out of the quarterbacks. Like Herbert, I think has the best weapons. That's why he looks so good, and that's why I took him.
Yeah.
But Devontae Parker,
he's the real deal. Devontae
Preston
Parker.
Williams and Mike Gesicki and Gaskin, that's a solid lineup. So I like the Dolphins going forward.
Yeah, I like them too. They're in a good spot moving forward for sure. Okay, let's get into some fantasy football talk. Today we're going to look at some matchups and which players we think are going to stand out this week. And I'll just start it out by saying this. Every Buffalo Bills player is going to do well this week because they have the Jets.
Yeah, anyone who's playing the Jets, line them up. The only caution I would say is they'll probably have to get all their work done in the first half because by the second half, they'll just be running the ball. So
that's true.
If you have Singletary, he'll probably get a lot of work. But yeah, take Allen and Diggs any week.
Yeah, for sure.
Line them up. They, other than one blip, Josh Allen has been the best fantasy quarterback in the league. Him and Kyler.
And last week he showed off his legs like crazy.
Yeah.
So
And he's got that ability.
Going to see more of that. All right, which what stands out to you this week? Any matchups that you like?
Well, I'm a Packers fan. I'm looking for them to have a big comeback against the Texans. Line them up. Aaron Jones, I think he'll go off. The Texans cannot stop the run. And so I'm looking for Aaron Jones, Devontae Parker, and Aaron Rodgers. I think he'll have a bounce-back game. He's got something to prove.
Devontae Adams.
Oh, Devontae Adams. I've got Parker on the brain.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's all good. Yeah, it's going to be a shootout, that game for sure. So that's going to be money for that. I like those picks. I definitely think off the cuff here a little bit, I think the Patriots bounce back this week. 49ers, they kind of showed that they're fighting for that wild card spot, but I am not a believer in the 49ers, coupled with all their injuries and all that. I think Cam Newton, Bill Belichick bounce back, and look for a big Cam Newton night is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Another one that is going to be closer than people think, the Bengals and Browns. They've already played each other once this year. The game was 33-30, I think. So
35-30 for the
35-30 for the Browns, and the Bengals have been getting better week by week. So Browns? Look for Burrow to put up some big numbers. T. Higgins has been his favorite target. AJ Green finally got some targets last week.
Yeah, so they're meshing.
Resurrected from the dead, and Joe Mixon has been a workhorse, but he's questionable. If he's out, I'd seriously look at Gio Bernard as well.
Yeah, I think Mixon is expected to miss, so pick up Gio if you can.
Yeah.
Is this one of those Odell Beckham games where he drops like 30 fantasy points?
I don't think so. I'm not a big believer in OBJ anymore. He's just so untrustworthy out there. Like, there's guys I'd rather have like a Kenny Golladay. Like guys that I know are going to get the targets. There's too many guys on the Browns that you never know if it's going to be a Hooper day, Landry day.
Yeah.
But seriously, Kareem Hunt in this game is going to be.
That's good.
Kareem Hunt is going to get all the work. Bengals are terrible at run defense, and he's also one of the best catching running backs out of the backfield.
I like that. Big Ben is also, I think, going to have a big day. Tennessee's got one of the worst receiving defense. So pick up Big Ben. It's hard to see which receivers is going to have a big day, though. So
yeah,
I'm still stuck on Chase, though. Chase Claypool, Canadian boy.
Yeah. Another one that might be able to be picked up is Demarcus Robinson from the Chiefs with Sammy Watkins out.
Yeah.
I think he's undrafted in a lot of leagues, and he had 6 catches last week, I think. And he's just a guy that goes overlooked in that really potent offense.
He had 5 catches for 70 yards.
Yeah. So like that's really serviceable for sure.
For sure.
If you're looking for a guy who can also bust a long touchdown, they're using him more than McCole Hardman, who a lot of people like.
I was surprised about that.
Demarcus Robinson for sure. And this is one of the last weeks. If you have Mike Davis, this is probably his last hurrah. So make sure if you have Mike Davis to do something with him. Maybe try and fleece someone on a trade this week.
Do they bring back McCaffrey right away? What's the point? They're sitting 3-3. I guess they're in contention still.
Yeah, I think so. McCaffrey's their whole team. They have to use him.
Was the drop off that huge with Davis though?
No, Mike Davis has been really good.
Yeah,
but McCaffrey's their guy.
So I was just saying maybe they, utilize them both a little bit, especially to preserve McCaffrey. I don't know. I'm not ready to just drop him because he's been too good.
Yeah, I can see that, but
yeah,
with the workload that McCaffrey's used to, like the way
he's just so good.
He's on the field 95% of the time, and he's getting 60% of the looks. Like he's just too big of a part of that offense.
I've gotten in a few of my leagues. I have been the guy trying to pick up a defense each week, finding the best matchup and who's available. Is there any defenses that stick out to you? Do you think the Cowboys or Washington defense is that going to be a blowout, or is that going to be a close game? Is there any defense?
I've been considering picking up the Washington defense for this week,
just because the Cowboys are so bad.
The Cowboys are really bad. Andy Dalton's been prone to throw some interceptions.
I could just see Zeke going off, though.
Yeah, he could. Like, it could come back to bite you, but there's no real standout other than the Bills, but someone's going to have the Bills already. But other than that, a lot of these games are going to be higher scoring games. Actually, I could see Pittsburgh and Tennessee. They've got two good defenses there.
True.
Probably both low scoring there. But other than that, I don't see a lot of standout.
What about the Chargers defense against the Jags? I might take them. I'm not you've been big on the Jags the first few weeks, but then they've
burned me a few times.
Yeah.
The Chargers at full strength have a really good defense. But Gardner Minshew is able to at times just pull some magic out of the hat and do some stuff out there.
True.
And James Robinson has been really good. If the Chargers defense is available, I definitely pick them up for this week.
Yep.
And I definitely take a flyer on Washington, because no one's going to pick Washington's defense
or the Cowboys defense. What do you think?
Yeah, but the Cowboys defense, like,
so
they
bad.
cannot stop the run.
They
Just
cannot
save
stop
their
anything. Okay.
But what's his name had 160 rushing yards last week or something like that.
Yeah.
Against the Cowboys. Like, that's a guy I'd be interested in looking in.
Kenyon Drake.
Who's the number one back there in Washington?
The rookie, isn't he?
Yeah, Gibson.
Gibson, right?
Yeah, and he's also their third leading receiver. So he's a guy. He's probably not available. Him or McKissick, I definitely pick them up for this week.
Yeah, they both could get 100 yards. So.
Yeah, they're their second. McKissick's their second, and then Gibson's their third leading receiver.
Is who's starting for the quarterback for the? Is it Kyle Allen?
I think it's Kyle Allen. Yeah,
he's starting. Wow. So, yeah, I don't know. Both defenses could do good.
And I've finally given up. I've traded Zach Ertz off all of my fantasy teams. He is done. He's dead to me.
I've been holding on to Alshon Jeffrey for a long time.
Yeah, I actually did a big trade today with Cody Allen in our dynasty league. I traded him to DeAndre Hopkins and Zach Ertz, and I got Noah Fant and Devontae Parker back. But with the dynasty league, you got to worry about contracts. Hopkins was on his last year, so
nice. How long is Parker there?
Parker, I've got a 2-year contract, and then Fant, he was on his taxi squad, so I got to give him a 4-year contract.
Nice.
So
that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Any other fantasy talk?
No, I think I'm all good.
All right. Well, let's hear another word from our sponsors. With no sports to watch on TV, esports have been shooting off the charts. What are esports, you may ask? Well, basically, it's competitive video gaming. Esports are fun to watch, and my favorite gamer to watch is a guy named Vandalized. Vandalized plays a variety of consoles and games, including the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What makes him so unique is that he plays these games with the controller upside down. It is a talent unlike any other. You can check his Twitch stream out, and you can find the link in the Sports Reverends Instagram bio, or you can search him up on Twitch, Vandalized, with 2 Z's or Z's. His control will be upside down. All right, thanks for listening today through the Sports Reverends podcast. I just wanted to highlight one thing. We got our revamped website, and we've added a cool element to it. It's called the Sports Reverends Insider, where you can go and check out. It's a free sign up, but you have to sign up for it, and you get some pretty cool things you can check out. It's the only place you can get fantasy football help from the Sports Reverends, which you probably need at this point because your team's not doing that well. So feel free to send it in through the chat there, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Waiver wire pickups, trades, who to start this week, anything that you need advice on, we're there for you. You can also see a few other cool elements that are there. We have a poll where you can check out NFL predictions, and I'll let you guys check it out yourself. I put it up on the Instagram as well, but go check it out, www.thesportsreverends.com.
And make sure you check us out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Give us a like, subscribe, comment with us, and let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what your takes. Let us know where you think we're wrong, and we'll let you know where we think you're wrong. So, yeah, let us know.
All right, there it is. We'll be back again next week. Peace out, world.
Peace.